Hello, everybody. This is Jen. I'm so glad to see you, and I'm hoping that we get in screen for this, but aren't these cute? We're going to paint these today, and I've been so obsessed with this toadstool. I saw, and this is a version that I did of one that I've seen. So I'm going to do it in watercolor, and what I'm doing is I'm going to make a postcard size, but this is the one that I've done, and I'm going to send this out to somebody. So it's got a little thing on the back. So if you're interested in joining my my Art Across My Heart project, where I send these out to some people that A, want one, and B, need one, and then I encourage you, once you get one of mine, to make your own and send it out to someone in need. And you can frame it, you can you know, do what you want. These are original artworks, and great for kids too. So we're going to try this one today. So so get your supplies ready. Just get regular watercolors, and it doesn't really matter what colors you pick. It's just, you know, have fun with it, explore. I just like the greens and the reds. I've seen this before. So what you're going to do first is, let me put this up here. Hopefully it'll stay so we can see it. I want you guys to see my reference. Let me put this up here. So I have some water, I have some brushes, and he just doesn't want to stay up there. He wants to glide down on our project. So I'm hoping you can see let me move him over a little bit. Okay. So I have this little size here. Now an average postcard is 6 inches by 4.5 inches. And this one's just a little bigger. This is 6.5 by 5.5. But what they really like is that smaller version. So we're just going to do a really quick, this is watercolor paper I cut down, and we're just going to draw a mushroom, okay? And if you can't draw this mushroom, and excuse me, I've been working outside. I have farm animals, and please excuse my horrible thumb, because I didn't wear gloves, and I raked until I got a blister really bad. But anyway, so just make like I guess it's a triangle, and then we're just going to do a little sad face on it, okay? And I hope you can see this, but we're just drawing that. Now, if you can't draw it again, let me know, and I will send you a tracer or an outline. But it's really easy. You just draw something like that. Mine's not perfect, okay? Look, it's all off. It's fine. And what you want to do is make little circles if you want, because this is the place we're not going to be painting on. We're going to leave those white. If you accidentally paint in the circle, that's fine. You can use a pen to make it white. Okay, so this whimsical, it's not perfect by any means. Now, if you want to put other mushrooms down here, you can. If you want to put flowers, you can. I'm just going to do a really basic one. I'm just going to put a shoot off to the side here and do a little lollipop. You can do a little frown face, and then you got this coming up. And a lot of these mushrooms have these little things in there. This is kind of more dome shaped, huh? But that's okay. We know what it is. And then over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a little dome shape or whatever, and make their little sad face. Okay. Then we're going to put little circles. Okay. All right, that's it. Okay, not hard. So we're going to start with green. We're going to do our outline outside first. And so I like to do that and then work inside and then work outside. So that way it gets a little bit chance to dry. So I have my water, I have my palette out here. And so what you want to do is get any kind of watercolor brush. I like the smaller one with the tip on these smaller projects, but you can get a bigger one if you want. This is a size 4. I also have here a size 12, and I have I believe this is an 8. But, whoops, but you see how much of a difference it is. I mean, these guys are not going to sit. They're not going to sit. We're going to move them off a little bit. That's okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get our water. And if you have a spray bottle with water in it, and I don't know what I did with it. I must have moved it. But what you want to do is get if you have cake watercolors, which is like, They come in little squares like this or rounds, and they're dry. You just want to kind of spray them or just drop a few drops of water on them just to kind of wake them up. If you have the liquid ones, you know, that you squeeze out, just squeeze a little bit out on a palette or a plate. And we're just going to get a little water on our brush. Okay, and I kind of tap it off a little bit. I have a napkin or a towel right here. And we're going to get into the green. So little bit of water, tap it off, get into your green. And I'm going to start with the darker green. And all I'm going to do is this. So it starts out really dark. And I'm just going to do this corner. So just do this corner. Don't do the whole thing at once. Just do the corner. And then I just went and got water from my cup. I'm not doing anything else but grabbing more water from my cup. So that corner is wet. Let me move you because you are in the way. Okay, so, and I like to reuse this. What's on the bottom of that is just a cardboard of my watercolors I got. So I just used water, and I don't like to tape. I know a lot of people like to tape their projects down, and the paper will curl because it's not taped. But what do you see what's going on with this watercolor? It is dripping down, and I love that. That, you know, it gives it such good abstract qualities to it. I just love the way I just let it do its thing. So I'm going to follow my drip all the way down. I'm going to keep following that drip. And if the drip disappears, just add more water. Do you see what's happening here? It is getting lighter, and we're not really doing anything but adding water. And it's doing its own shading. So what I do is I outline right outside my pencil lines with the water. And then I come back and get more water and fill it in. You see that? Okay, and then we're going to go down to side. Now remember, only do a little section at a time. You don't want to do the whole background at once. I mean, you can. But this way you have control of what you're doing in front of you. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to go get that darker green, and I'm just going to touch a little bit of touch in the corners. Now it's already saturated with water. So what's going to happen is you go back and you kind of just let the watercolor blend on its own. It will travel on its own, especially if you move it like this. Okay? So I got a lot of water here, but if you turn your page up like this, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's starting to migrate into the painting, and it'll leave the outside kind of dark. Okay, so we got that started. If you don't like that line, you can just take the belly of your brush and kind of push it along, and it'll drop. But I kind of like the line. I kind of like what it's doing here. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to take it, get our brush wet, do the corner. And we're going to do the corner with that green. And this is a great project for kids. The way I'm filming this, it's such that you can take and you can pause it, you can rewind it. But anyway, I love this. This is so fun. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just kind of swishing around, which you don't have to, but you can take your paper and lift it up and pull it. Make sure you go outside of your lines. Again, if you go inside, that's okay. It might bleed a little bit when we get there. So just be aware that if these two colors touch and this is not all the way dry yet, the red will bleed up into that green. It just will. So just be aware that that might happen if it's not dry. Now, if you are doing this at home and you did the green part, you might want to wait till it's all the way dry. So go get a cup of coffee or something to drink and let it dry. And then come back and do the red. But I'm going to keep going here. So if it does bleed, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. It's going to do its thing anyway, right? And if you get to the point where you don't want a certain color on there, you can make a thirsty brush, which is you take your brush, you clean it, swish it around in the water, and then you dry it on your towel. Okay, and then you put your brush back on your painting and it'll suck up the water. Okay, and that will also suck up a little bit of the color at a time. Just don't rub it too much, because some of the watercolor paper out there is not very good. And not saying it's bad, it's just it doesn't hold up to a lot of that scrubbing. So just be careful with that. So right now we're going to come back down, and I'm just using plain water, and I'm trying to pull. That was a little bit of brown in there. I must have got it off the green, but that's okay. I kind of like the way it's doing that. Shadow effect around there is really cool. So we're going to pull it down next to this guy. Now you don't want to leave too many spaces where it's white, okay, because it'll definitely look like you. Oops, I went over. That's okay. Okay, so now that we have that part, we're going to go back around, and I kind of like to take my green and just get it on your brush and just go back to these corners and put a couple dots here and there. Okay, this is fun. It's fun. Just put a couple dots while your paper's still wet. Okay, we're just going to put a couple dots of green. And if you notice, the wetter my paper, like over here, it's pretty wet. Okay, the more that those dots are going to travel around. Okay, so it kind of gives it a really cool, whimsical look, doesn't it? I just love this. It's going to look really cool. But if you know anything about watercolor, when it dries, it's a lot lighter. So you can put it on pretty dark, but it's going to dry pretty light. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this sopped up because it went off my paper. And I know me, I will get it all over my hands. And I have a plastic tablecloth on here, so I don't get my table all dirty. So if you have kids, I just take a box or cardboard, and that's their place where they can draw on, or I use like freezer paper, and that's the place I leave to have them paint on. And also below you, if you are teaching this, or you are painting and you want your kids to join along, it would be a good idea to have something like baby wipes or something below you, excuse me. So if it does fall on the floor, it wouldn't be a big deal. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to clean our brush. So basically we just wipe it back and forth. We tap it off, and then we're going to go into some yellow, okay? So I know you guys probably have yellow on there. You can get a lot of this paints and supplies, you know, basically at a dollar store if you wanted to. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do it really strong right here with this yellow. See that? It's really strong. And then we're going to add some water. So we're going to add water, and we're going to pull it down. Okay? And I'm not dipping my brush back into my paint. I'm just adding water because we got really strong yellow. Okay? You see that? You got to pull it down with your water. Okay, and then we're going to do this. We're going to come in here, and we're going to fill this out with just water. I just have water on my brush. Okay, you see that? I just have water. We're going to go through, and I did not dip back into that paint. It's really light up here. Now remember, when it dries, it's going to be pretty light. So we're going to go through and following around in this mushroom shape, okay? And before it dries, what we're going to do is we're going to clean our brush, and we're going to dip a little bit in that brown, okay? We have a little bit of brown, and while it's wet, this is a wet on wet technique we're going to use. I'm trying to push this down so you can see it without the glare, so I'm hoping there's no glare. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to touch that line, okay? You see that? I touched the line, and now I'm going to go halfway down on my stem with that line, okay? I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to put a little bit of water on that, just a little bit, and I'm going to go right below that line I just made, okay, with water. And you know what that's going to do? I'm going to go all the way down now. It's going to pull the brown a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit darker right here. And it's going to pull it, and it's going to go over a little bit to cause shading. And you don't even have to think about it. You just put it a little bit of brown there, and it'll pull the shading over. So we're going to do the same thing up here. While it's still wet, we're going to get our brush in the brown, and then we're just going to touch, okay? we're going to touch. Ooh, I didn't get enough brown. We're going to touch underneath here. And we're just going to push that along, okay? Going to push it along, and we're going to connect it with little lines down into this big tree right here. While it's wet, okay? While it's wet, we're just pulling along, and we're going to connect it down here. And we're adding a little water. We're adding a little more water so it flows. Now it's going to flow and it's going to look a little funny, but it'll be okay. It'll dry a lot lighter. Now I accidentally touched out here and it's bleeding out into the green. Yeah, it's okay. Now I'm not too worried about it. I kind of like it. I kind of like it to bleed. I'm going to touch it a little bit, but see if you touch it with a napkin or a paper towel, it'll pull some of that stuff back out. So don't worry about it, okay? So we're going to take it and we're just going to kind of ask it to please bleed over here. We want it to bleed a little bit right there. So we're going to take this down and we're going to make right where we did the shading before, we're going to go over it just a little bit again. So we want it just a little bit darker. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing with these other two little guys over here. We are going to go wash our brush. So swish back and forth, rub it off on your towel. Now remember not to destroy your brush, but make sure that you just maybe lightly squeeze it, but don't pull, okay? You don't want to destroy your brush. You want to use it again. All right, so let's go back in the yellow, and we're going to do the same thing with these guys, okay? We're going to start up here. We're going to pull down, and then we're going to go around. And I did not even get more water. I just filled it all in. So this is like a super simplified version. So don't worry, okay? We're going to pull it down. Now, you know what we're going to do now? We're going to rinse our brush out, and we're going to get a little bit of brown, okay? We'll get a little bit of brown, and we're going to start over here, okay? And we're going to go on the other side because, you know, the sun or whatever the light is coming from that other side. So, but you don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to kind of touch through there, and I'm going to run a line along here, okay? Same thing. We're just using brown. I'm going to use it on the opposite side, and I'm going to run it down here. And I put way too much water in there. But that's okay. Okay, he might be just a little darker. I just tap. I'm not even pulling it down. I'm just tapping on there. Now, if it's too dark, let's say you get a lot, you don't like that. Let's say you don't like that. Okay, I'm going to put more over here. But say, oh, I don't like that. I want that to go away. All right, so you take your I should have a napkin, but I don't. Take it and you push down. Okay, did you see that? Isn't that cool? So we took off the paint. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that stuff. You can take it off. You can put it on. And in fact, when it's completely dry, now remember, when it's completely dry, you can use an eraser and literally take some of that off. Okay, so I'm going through and I'm kind of just putting a little bit of dark spots over here to make it look like there's a background back there. Okay, and I'm going to put another dark spot back here and back here. Just because it looks like it's farther away back here if it's a little darker. Okay, so we're just going to put a couple taps of really dark brown right there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to get red. So wash your brush out, same brush. Okay, and we are going to get red. And we're going to start with that top one. And we're just going to go all over the top here and go around your circles. Now don't worry if you get inside, it's okay. Okay, and if you do, you know what, you can always get one of those white gel pens and you can put dots back in there after it's completely dry. So don't worry about any of that stuff, okay? So we're going to go through, and I have a lot of red loaded up in my brush, okay? So we're going to go through, and we're just going to start at one little corner, okay? I'm starting over here. Now, if your paper is really saturated, really full of water from the green still, just be a little bit wary that it may bleed out up into your green, which is okay. It kind of makes it look a little bit more whimsical if it does, like right here. I kind of like it. So I have a lot of red on my brush, and I'm going all almost to the edge. And now I'm gonna dip it in some water. Okay, so we're introducing water a little more, and it's gonna get a little bit lighter, but that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna go around our circles. Go around our circles. Okay, and let's do it this way. We got more water on here. So you got your red, right? And you're going around. You're going to be fine. This is going to look so cute. Okay, it already looks cute. Okay, you guys can do this. I know you can do this. All right, I'm going to get a little bit more red, and I'm just going to keep going. We're going to keep going, okay? And don't worry about anything, because you got this. Okay, now let's go around. Go around. And if you want, at this phase, if you want to just have it just like this, that's up to you. You can do whatever you want to. Now, if you're a more advanced painter and you want to add more detail, that's fine too. So we can talk about that. But right now, I'm just going to do a really basic one, okay? And it may surprise you how much it's so easy, and you may want to just do a little bit more and a little bit more later on, which is fine. I suggest you start with this and work your way up to doing more shading and stuff. And I'll show you something fun when we're all done that we can do to kind of just have a little bit more fun with your paintings. Okay, and this is obviously, you know, it's going to be abstract and a whimsical kind of painting. If you are interested in more realism, we might be doing that later on, and maybe a little bit more detailed of a tutorial. I have to get more followers in order for YouTube and them to allow me to have a membership. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to get our numbers up so that we can offer that later on. Because I think this would be fun for kids and adults too. And especially a membership would be really nice to help fund us too. Because we're doing this for free. So just would help to keep us kind of going and buy our art supplies, basically. I guess if you wanted to send us art supplies, that would be good too. We wouldn't have to. Okay, so I'm just going around with a nice layer of red behind there, and I know I hit some of it. That's okay. Some of it's still wet. I kind of like the lighter look now. It kind of looks really kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, just experiment. If you want to wait till it dries and then add some more negative painting strategies, you can. I'm not going to be teaching that right now though, but definitely in the future we'll go back and we'll do some more negative painting kind of stuff, because that's fun to learn too. And you know what, you don't have to be a super experienced artist to understand negative painting, okay? It's just sometimes they use fancy words to get you all confused, and it's really not confusing. So but anyway, my goal is to have you guys have fun and make it easy for you and have some really cute projects. I saw someone paint something like this, and they posed a challenge, and I thought, I love toadstools, so I thought I'd be able to do this. And I thought, you know what, I'll just go ahead and teach you guys too. So this is going to be a postcard that I'm making that's going to go out to whoever sends me their address. So if you are interested in getting a postcard, or if you have somebody in mind that you think needs a postcard, my project is Art Across My Heart. And what it is we find people, or we have people recommend people that need a postcard, that need somebody to say something nice to them. And there doesn't have to be a rhyme or reason. It's just kind of a way to get out and kind of make someone's day, make them feel better, give them a, postcard hug. And so we started that because not a lot of people get mail anymore, and not a lot of people get a nice sentimental piece of mail anymore. So I thought that would be so cool to have a way to share art. I'm just going to go back and put another dark little line there just to kind of outline it. If you want to, you don't have to, but I thought it was a nice way to get your art out, to make somebody something that they'll enjoy, and hopefully some of you will paint something like this or paint this project and send it to somebody. If you want to send it to me, you can, and then I will feature you on here when I do the feature. So if you want to stop here, and if you're a newbie and you want to stop here, this is great to stop at, okay? It looks fine. It looks cute. And whatever you do, don't forget to sign your paper. I always forget to sign mine. But sign it. And then on the back, like this one's dry, okay? So on the back, we have a little postcard area. So make sure you find somebody and fill it out. And I think I don't know how much they are now, but you get your postcard stamp, and then you can put a nice message in here for them, a personal message. But isn't that cute? So cute to send somebody something so original that you painted for them. And it's like a gift. It's so nice. You can always keep these and use these as a gift card too. Or frame them. If you want to frame yours, you can definitely frame yours. Okay, I'm going to show you the last part that's really fun. Are you ready for the last part? Okay, so the last part. Let me move this guy out of the way because the last part's kind of messy. Oh, there's my spray bottle. Okay, so we got him. So he's really cute, right? He's done. You don't need to do any more, okay? So let's take our brush, and you cleaned it out, right? So you swished it back and forth and you got it clean. All right, he's clean. So now I'm going to fill him up with water, and I'm going to get some of my dark green. Okay, so I got my green, and I got a whole bunch of green on there. So what I'm going to do now, is fun, ready? Or I'm just going to splatter it. So I'm just smacking the little, oh, there's not a whole lot of dots coming out. There we go. Do you see that? I got dots everywhere. Could be the spores coming out of that mushroom. But you put your, I don't know if you can see that. They're little tiny dots. But that's fun. You can do that, and you can do red dots. And when it dries, when it's completely dry, you can use your pen, your white pen, and go back and put white dots on it. You know how fun is this? I'm so glad that you guys are here watching, and I hope you try this, and please let me know if you tried it. Like and follow, please, and visit us at Jen and Anna's art page on Facebook. And we do kits, we do classes, and this is available as a class if you are interested. I do some classes that are virtual, so if you have all the supplies or if you need the supplies, I come on and I teach virtually. And also Anna and I go in person, so if you're interested in that, please let us know. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.